Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2017 World Scrabble Championship semi-finals between the Joker and the people of Gotham City. We have Goutham Jayaraman from Singapore, and we have David Eldar from Australia. Joining me here once again in the commentary booth, we have my American brethren, Chris Lipe and Jason Keller. And we are also joined by the King of Scotland himself, Paul Allen, one of my many vanquishers in this tournament, who will be helping us to commentate. You didn't see, but the two players just drew to start. Goutham started off with an A. David replied with an A. Goutham replied with an E, and David showed weakness with a T. So already he doesn't know what he's doing. But here we go. We're in and we're off.
Ooh.
And straight away, Goutham has drawn Satiate and Itatis.
Yes, and will he be satisfied with this rack?
You would.
I would be satisfied with this rack.
He will do a pack on.
Yeah. Will he do a Pakon?
Oh dear.
For those who don't know that reference by Paul, Pakon Nemitramanskuk was famous for taking about 13 minutes to decide where to play an opening rack of Airiest. Yeah.
I was on the board at the time. Yeah, I got exhausted moving
I
the
guess.
tiles 18 times.
Is he just? Is he going for you? Yeah. You mean Itatis?
Itatis won't
Itatis
take hooks.
Probably
so
in the
probably
right
gonna be-
position. Yeah. Probably a little bit better. And this
There's
is
not a point in simulating it.
I'd probably put it in starting the C column. Yeah, just
Which is
like
what
you
he's
did.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the key with that position is first of all clearly it puts the consonants next to the colored squares, but also it slots the S in the weakest lane possible, one off of the triple, so
Yes.
that if David does have a bingo ending in S, it's going to be as much of an airball as possible,
Yeah.
and it's going to open up the 9
And
timer
Q-
in
and
row 1.
It seems that it's a straight QI back.
It's a QI, yeah. 26, PAIRE, easy.
Mm-hmm.
T, great flow to combine with that. The other benefit of playing Itatis there is that if you have, say, a Z play, utilising that A, the chances are you're going to open up the triple.
Yes.
Goutham is starting off with his traditional AT. Hello.
That's a good. Okay.
It's gone downhill a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And he's doing the interesting
Shuffling technique. Yes.
Yes. With the
And
third
Mr. Eldar has pulled
Parvise, Pavasar.
interesting combination.
Privates. Mr. Eldar has privates on his rack in a live stream.
Yeah, that's what the Joker will get you.
Yes.
So getting back to Goutham's rack, I mean, an obvious play for turnover and score is variant through the A. Avanti, maybe keeping FR, worth having a look at. Not a great deal of improvement on that. The Sims are all putting variant towards the top. Frit and Frat at C7 are worth considering. That really closes off the board. But I think at this stage I'd probably just plump for variant.
Yeah, and I mean, similar to what David said against Nigel in a game like this, where you're arguably the underdog, you want to play for more volatility, open up the board more, because you're going to have it leaves things more to chance, and you have an opportunity. If you're going to outdraw somebody, you're going to draw bingos, and you want to be able to play them. If you shut down the board, then even if you draw well and outdraw them, you're still going to get outplayed because there are so many fewer choices, and your stuff won't go down. So, from a strategic standpoint, sitting where he is, even with the early bingo lead, Goutham's probably going to want to play variant to just open things up and develop the board more.
No, absolutely.
It's a common thing, not so much with players at this level. It's a common thing for intermediate players
Yes.
when they're playing experts. They get scared and want to tighten everything down, and that just makes it so that if they do get lucky and draw a few bingos, they're not going to fit on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really need to be sound in your knowledge of hooks and so on. I mean, I remember seeing in one UK national championship, there were two grandmasters playing, and both of them assumed that the board was tightly controlled, except there was a clave played from O2 down, and neither of them realised that sklave was a word, and they were both sitting there with bingos ending in S. So you do need to be sound in your knowledge to play that kind of tightness. Now,
Goutham has exchanged too.
Exchanged FV.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Which is interesting. I hadn't included it in the simulation.
The computer didn't include it.
That is...
Yeah.
Pass, is it?
Well,
That should
I just think this could run into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that is,
I mean,
Unorthodox.
yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's certainly... Yeah, I mean, it's 9 percentage points down on any other play.
But yeah, there's no reason to give up the 30 points for variant.
I mean, what's going to be interesting now is if David plays privates, because of course it takes a T.
And
Goutham has the T.
Has parity or party.
But I do you think he's playing privates because he thinks maybe Goutham won't think it takes a T?
I don't know. I mean, after an exchange 2, a T is definitely well within the range of what your opponent would keep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, there's a much greater than random chance from where David's sitting that Goutham has the T. But if that's the highest scoring bingo, how much do you sacrifice for what's probably maybe a 40-point comeback?
Yeah. Okay, so the Joker currently leads the people of Gotham City by 36 points. The people of Gotham City have Painty for 50, if he knows Privatist. Meanwhile, David has drawn out a horrible rack.
Ooh, yeah, right?
If only Mulu was a verb, he'd have Mulu'd.
Yeah, I mean...
Pansy maybe, not to leave the...
he looks like he's setting up
yeah.
on his rack.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by Ash, who has been your
Plays...
faithful commentator over the last few days.
Hi guys.
Hiya.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, he's
Really
going
well.
for...
It's going...
Gather Nigel's out.
Yes,
Nigel is out. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nigel went out in straight games. The two of the most incredible games we've seen, actually. It's interesting here. I mean, Goutham showing what I guess his style of play, which seems to be more fishing based on high probability stuff rather than scoring through.
I wonder if I don't know. Maybe there's nerves involved or something like it.
Could be.
Who's on turn?
So this is David Eldar.
Right.
Currently sitting with 4 O's LED.
And Goutham's fish is rewarded with
Fishless.
with
a double U.
Yeah.
yes, with a he went fishing and he picked up a tire that was sunk at the bottom of a lake or something because well, that
The
was
people of Gotham City, now it's a Bassmaster.
Bassman. Yeah. So, the highest score that Dave has got available here is Lude at D1. Ooped through the P is potential. Looped.
Without any inference, Lude seems like a reasonable play, but after the
Changing
change two and then the PYA play, you kind of think that you're putting him on a really bingo prone rack and might not want to open the 9-timer.
Yeah. This is the point at which you're also ruining playing privates because you're pretty certain he's got something good with the T.
Although if he had the T, wouldn't he have just played it?
You would think.
Yes.
You know,
wouldn't you?
like
Yeah.
that's. I mean, that's the inference that
Yeah.
Dave's making. Maybe, you know, maybe it was an
Maybe kept-
EINRS rack or something
Yeah.
that just happens to not have a T.
Yeah.
So he may let it ride, sort of inferring that there's no T there. From where Goutham is, like you probably want to play something like Utu and Privatist,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know it scores really well and cleans things up.
I think this move will be telling of Dave's mindset because if he's in an aggressive mood, if he feels he can dominate this match, then I think Lude is still possibly the play.
Yeah, versus Oop, which is going to be, you know, another thing after a change 2, and then he plays off PY. You're probably putting him on 5 1-point tiles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
putting the
And also
E
possibly-
at the F3 square, you know, next to the triple, you're not going to expect him to come back with a W or something,
Yeah.
you know, to hit that hot spot.
Oh, we're talking about this. I mean, there's potential he could change as well. I mean, the way he was grabbing his 4 O's at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, DEL
Yeah.
with the floaters. He's got the position across from I6 for a simple 7 that would fit. And in fact, sure enough, he's changed 4 O's. Simulation shows that about 4% win below Lude, but that's without any inference. So I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that actually. Although it's interesting that it does put him below a 50% chance to win if he exchanges 4, despite the fact he's in the lead.
It looks like Goutham might be exchange. Let's see.
And he's thinking, look, Ruru.
So he's just turning the 3 tiles upside down to really get on my nerves. Showing that he used to be a youth player.
Well,
So it's unsurprising that towards the top of the sim is U2 and Privatist, which gives a 60-ish% chance of winning. But all of this does telegraph that he clearly doesn't know Privatist, so that was good.
yeah. Now
Will-
you are as upside down.
Will David Eldar draw another T throughout the remainder of this match?
Actually, it'd be great if, actually no, it would be great from David's point of view if Goutham were to put a U out somewhere now because he doesn't have unwieldy.
I don't think where it's going to go is actually going to help him for unwieldy
Yeah.
though.
So
He's played.
He's played Ruru.
yeah. Ruru actually doesn't feature in the sim at all. So let me pop it in and just see what...
All of the plays Quackle suggests make Privatist.
Yeah.
So there you are.
But I suppose, given that he's missed Privatist, is that quite a good play?
Yeah, I
Can't
mean...
compare it with other non-Privatist moves.
True.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know Privatist, then Ruru is probably among the best things there.
Yeah.
What else do you do? You know, there's just not many options.
I need to put in a
so
few dozen other options.
Run and Jin. I don't know. That scores a bit more.
So running and gin very rarely go together, everybody. So hold on, let's go.
Wow.
So
That's a clutch. It's a little bit of a clutch draw by Goutham. That's not going to get blocked.
Well, it will if David plays WYN and QIN.
Right.
Yep.
Which is then going to really test whether Goutham has written off the T-hook on private, which we have to assume he has.
Right.
Well, we may be uncertain, and he might feel the need to go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't know. Yeah, that would. We shall see. Yeah, players are.
But given the way that Goutham's been playing, obviously you must assume he's got an S, I would think.
I would assume no blank.
Yeah.
Otherwise he'd be bonused by now.
No,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you have to put him on either I can't imagine sitting across the board from him. I would never guess that he had just whiffed on privatist.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't make that assumption about an opponent at this level in this situation. So I'm assuming that he has like EINRS sort of thing, and that just hasn't had a T to go with it. But yeah, you almost have to assume an S, because what else does he have making these plays if he doesn't have an S?
Yeah.
So in WYN takes out the S ending bingo lane that's sharpest,
and the easy sevens across the top.
And maybe he's just drawn a T. But there's not really much you can do about it. You can only address one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So WYN does seem like the
WYN's on his rack. Also simming very highly as WEY at D9, making U and AY. But I think with all the inferences we're talking about, it makes sense to take out the easiest positions.
Yeah, and there goes WYN, and now is the.
And at the point that he put it on the board, WYN overtook WEY in the sim. It's just gone back down again. But obviously, Quackle listens to David Eldar.
Yes, actually, his mind is telepathically connected to Quackle.
So unsurprisingly,
I would like to know what's going through his mind right now as he's seeing what's been coming down from the other side.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's something that can sometimes get into a player's head, and in fact, it's like Goutham has lined up aft.
So yeah, you've got it. Okay, this is the point where I think Goutham has maybe hasn't even registered privatist.
Yeah.
Because this is the point you should be agonising about whether to play it.
Yes.
He has clearly written it off.
Yes.
Any doubt you had, you have to err very much in confidence.
And this is going to be a 58-point error.
Yeah, when playing on an annotated game like this, a lot of people will be nervous and be like, "Oh, if I play this thing and it's not good, I'm going to look stupid." But I always worry, if I miss this thing and it was good, I'm going to look even worse.
Yeah.
So if I was halfway sure, 60% sure of privatist and sitting in this position, you have to put it down and try it.
Yeah.
And if even if you're sort of not in the right mindset and you're a bit psyched out about being annotated and being broadcast and all this, like you have to just try it and see what happens.
Do you think also going through his head is David wouldn't have played privates if it took a T?
That's a potential possibility.
That's possible because there were other things available. So
and sure enough, he's played Waft, which actually Waft wasn't even coming up in the sim. Again, all the other options were hooking the T, so I won't worry too much about that at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you give your opponent too much credit in a way. Like, of course, privates doesn't take a T. Why would he put it there if it did? That would be crazy to make that play.
That's happened to me against Nigel. I'm not even mentioning what the word was, but he played out a word, and I assumed that it wouldn't take an S. Otherwise, exactly that. Why would he have put it there?
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been Nigel, I'd just have played the S.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's.
And in comedy circles, privates doesn't take a T, but it takes coffee quite often, which hurts. It got potential here. I mean, Hull. I quite like Hull because it frustrates the T hook on privates, but by now, David must be thinking, "I've got this."
He just played a T and didn't use the hook.
So.
I mean, from Goutham's point of view, he's now got the Zoa across the top of Waft, which I don't think is going to get blocked. And it's like, if you're fishing for a bonus, that's the ideal kind of move. Having said that, it will close the board down. But I think Hull has to be the play. IDE, frustrate the hook, good floaters to go with what you're keeping.
Yeah. think there's possibly something though to altering and with him not realizing that, with him thinking that Goutham doesn't realize that that takes that T hook that he might want to keep that open. You can play Hull. You can play Hull
You have
elsewhere.
that. You always have that temptation,
Yeah.
like when there's a hook that you suddenly realize you're the only one you know at the board
Yeah,
who
that
knows
he's
about.
gonna- yep.
But you can't change your play. You can't make the wrong
Yes.
play because you want to keep it open. Like,
Right.
it's
Let's hold, take a Y.
Yes.
Oh,
Takes a Y, takes an O, takes an S.
yeah. In a situation like that, you just have to make the right play. You can't make a wrong play, hoping to draw into something that you're saving for yourself for later.
So David has picked out a dreadful rack.
And
So
I don't know. Would he play Zoe and above Waft
well, you've got 4 A's unseen, so I think that would
or
be.
Zoa?
I think Zoa would be the play for me. And it's certainly sitting slightly ahead of ZO.
Yeah, I think there aren't enough constant floaters to make anti-I better than anti. Sorry, time.
Yeah. So I think Goutham's thought process currently is, I'm going to play Zoa. I now need to quickly check that I'm not missing a bonus that I know.
Yeah.
He has been quite unlucky in not getting a bonus.
Yeah.
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 This will be tough if Eldar goes on to win this hit.
No.
He seems
Where
to.
is
Was he lining up?
Oh.
He's playing.
He's
okay,
playing
so
Zoe. Is the A going down? Nope, it's just Zoe.
No, I think for the reasons we've said, I think Zoa was a better play there. 5 A's on the scene.
Hmm.
And only the L is
Yeah.
a floater.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it preserves the T, but you're already holding a T, so it's not going to be that useful to bingo through.
Well, you've got, entail, as a lot of people watching this, was a great 6-letter stem to start building from, but there you go. He's now not got a bingo again, because he's picked out a duplicate A. So the scores currently are Goutham has 160, David Eldar has 159, so there's 1 point in it. David's played coated. David's opted to go for the score. The other option immediately followed by Quackle was Evo through the V of privates for 17 points less. But I think at this point, David probably just wants to power through with the score.
Yeah.
Quackle's more optimistic about the pickup that Goutham was going to have, in that it's given him Oterine. I'll just correct that. And unsurprisingly, unsurprisingly, all of Quackle's top choices involve privatist. Although interestingly now, I keep saying interestingly, it's showing the top choice not brilliant. Goutham's win percentage, according to Quackle at least, has gone down well below the 50% mark now. And Quackle doesn't know what David's got in his rack.
This is one of those games where if you're counting equity, just not knowing one particular hook, it turns it into an equity bloodbath. And just missing the same play over and over again is just killer.
Putting in the inference with our knowledge of David's rack,
Yeah.
Goutham's win percentage is plummeting down to probably about 30% is where it's going to even out, I reckon.
Yeah, because there is.
Basically, what's going to happen now is that David's going to probably play a bingo through the L or one of the L's of Hull, and all of a sudden this board gets closed very quickly. You've only then got the plays down the N column, and actually maybe even not down the L column, depending on what he plays.
So given he's not going to play privatist again,
Yeah.
what is there? I'm not seeing anything
it's
great.
not that much. There was a suggestion of maybe ABA coming down.
And Ash.
And Ash. But
Yeah.
For style points, if David's really worried about that T, he could play Shrieking off the SH.
right.
Not that I'm suggesting for a second he's going to do that, but it's always nice to have the option. Other options through the L's include Glen-like, but you wouldn't play Glen-like because basically it gives 2 positions for 7s. And I think by now David's pretty certain that Goutham's fishing around for a 7. But I mean, Goutham must be thinking, where can I play off? I mean, is there any way to play AB? Probably not.
I mean,
Yeah.
BA.
ABA,
There's
Abbott and
EA.
Ash, yeah.
But then ABA is restricting the floaters.
Yeah.
But no, he's not just going to fish the B. I don't think he would play AB off of the D encoded either.
Play Biza into Za.
True. Well, yeah. Wow.
You know, if you're going
You
on a
might
fishing
as well,
expedition, you may
yeah.
as well just blow it open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think at this point in time, David's going to be eyeing up just playing Seeking and Chins, which is going to
yeah.
kill the board, or
Yeah.
Skiing.
right.
Actually, you play Seeking, I think, just because you don't leave a vowel next to the triple letter. But I think if Goutham plays something onto one of the L's of Hull, probably, well, if he plays onto the second L of Hull and Dave plays Seeking, we're in a pretty tough position to come back from. So he's
Yeah.
played Bale
Bale.
onto the first L,
That's the first L.
which takes out that T,
Very defensive in that way.
finally.
So private testy is no good.
Yeah. Sorry?
Private testy.
Oh, private testy is not
Yeah.
good. No, the people who are private.
Yeah, no, it'd be privatistic,
Yeah.
which is also blocked.
He's got the bonus.
Oh,
Hey.
okay.
Yay!
Got one.
And he'll probably feel he's been unlucky.
Yeah.
He probably has that nagging feeling that he's missed something important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a game when
Yeah.
when you're dinking around for 4 or 5
Yeah.
turns and you're almost close to a bonus,
Yeah.
there's always that nagging thing in the back of
Yeah.
your mind. Okay, there's something horrible that I've missed.
Yeah. Or also,
most-
just with the pickups, a lot of times I'll say, I must have picked this up because I missed something.
Yeah, and it's like, but most of the time you go through, and you know, to be fair, most of the time you go through and you analyze it, and you're like, no, they were just really tough racks. There's nothing amazing that I
Yeah.
mast, but in this case, there was
There
something
was.
that he
Yeah,
missed.
Dave's playing
Yeah.
skiing. Do you think that maybe because he's not certain that Seeking doesn't take an S?
Probably.
That could be.
Because
Probably.
if you're certain that Seeking doesn't take an S, Seeking is better.
Yeah,
But Quackle Show gets a 91.7
Yeah.
winning play. That's without any
Also, if
inference.
he's assuming that Goutham is still on 1-point tiles, that E next to the triple letter is not a particularly threatening thing.
it could be like you can probably put him on 1-point tiles after Bale.
Yeah.
You know, sort of based on how he's been fishing, how many he's been drawing. If he had another counter in the leave after Bale, he would have played it. He wouldn't have played, you know, he wouldn't have played Zoe, he wouldn't have played Ruru before that. So, you know, kind of an
Yeah.
ongoing inference, you can think that,
Yeah.
you know, and that may even be a good, a good sort of gambit to play. Like you're creating spots for heavy tiles that you don't think your opponent has, but you have first shot at drawing.
Yeah. So
That would be interesting question to ask him if he would play skiing on purpose, given an inference.
I think treason. Unfortunately, he can't play orange just through the G.
So he's playing treason. Treason, which is simming top with a 25%, but of course we know that it leaves a. Actually, it doesn't leave too much.
Yeah, it doesn't give that much back.
He's played treason. Quacker's asked me if I wish to commit treason at this point. Okay.
So yeah, that's there's the EX at the bottom, but that leaves the 9 timer open.
Oops.
Fox.
Well, you have
or
FedEx.
FedEx.
Or XED.
Oh, FedEx. Oh, yeah.
Now Goutham's got Jota for 57. Keeping LERD, but killing that part of the board.
And he's doing, maybe it's the tile, maybe it's the way that he's moving the tiles around his rack. There's a little bit of a mojo going.
Shame there's no O around for one of my personal favourite sixes, Dog Fox. Okay, so fogged, great defensive play.
Yeah, fogged is brilliant because there's so many things to open and it sets up EX for next turn.
Yes.
So Goutham goes out of his way to block the EX setup, which there's no particular reason why he would. David has a chance to draw into XI up on the end column, or maybe an X play through the T. But as it stands, Jota's probably going to go down, which means he'll have EX to come back with at a very minimum.
Well,
And fogged is simming top.
So that's
it's 24 points fewer than the highest score, which was FedEx.
yep.
But yeah, a lot of times with these power tiles, it's good to take a step back and think in terms of don't necessarily play them immediately, but think of it in terms of 2 turns. Can I make a play this turn that increases the value of my power tile next turn? If there's an opening for me to make a high scoring play, can I make a different play that creates a second opening so one will still be open for me in the next turn? And Fogged deals with the F and the G, which are going to be some complicated, some bad tiles perhaps to use, scores really well, and maintains the high value of the X. It's a really solid sort of play, a solid sort of counter play.
David will be happy to see the O going down there because as long as Goutham doesn't pick out an O, the position under Ox is going to be a nice selfish opening.
Yeah, AELON with that board position at the bottom is gorgeous. You're going to have a field day on row 15 the next turn.
But there is still a blank unseen. Oh, and Goutham has he's picked the O, but okay. So I'm going to predict the next 2 moves. I'm going to predict that David's going to play EX and Goutham's going to play Droller. The problem is, if he plays Droller, I think it's end of game because the board is then dead.
Yeah, even though David will be on, only be a tempo ahead because the scores will be close to level, not quite level, but close. Droller should be about 40 something, right? But even with that small advantage, the board is going to be pretty.
So he's played X, yeah. Yeah, X is the top play, unsurprisingly.
That's unfortunate.
What's he doing?
Oh,
He's
the tile's
looking at
upside down.
error instead of draw.
No, his eyes put drawer upside down. Yeah.
Lore. Okay, he's droller. David has Napoleon up on his rack, except the P is obscured.
Yeah, he had an lock zone earlier on
Yes.
set
Yeah.
up. But,
So, perhaps this will be Goutham's Waterloo.
to be fair, he's been a super trooper in this game.
Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, he's chosen
Error.
error, which probably is. Why would he do error?
Is it self-descriptive?
Yeah, well, according to Quacklers, it's a 7-8%
Error.
error.
Yeah, you're giving up 7 points and not really getting a better leave.
Yeah.
And 7 points in a game where I know scoring is everything,
his
but
tiles are still upside down, which is just another error.
so at the moment Dave only has a 22-point lead, but
Yeah.
on this board that's going to be important because
Yeah.
the number of scoring openings, very few, very bingo-y tiles left, very bingo-y tiles, but this is not a bingo board. The only potential position is going to be down the side of coated or through the SH and E of, well, the SH and E.
And Goutham has drawn 1,558.
How?
It's all Roman numerals.
I'm livid.
Yes.
But these are the kinds of moves that really great players excel at.
Yeah.
Dave is in a position where he's got all one-pointers. He's not out of the woods. He needs to make the right choice. From his point of view, there are still threats coming down from N6 or through the D of Fogged, or face value bonuses through the E and the I of Skiing. So he's not out of the woods yet. Quackle is quite liking the rather chic A-knoll underneath a Tartis, making Chin, ISO and Tar. 78% win. It's the best score. It takes out the E. It does nothing for that N6 down file.
It doesn't look like there's much he can do
And-
for that N6 file at this point.
Yeah.
And
Dave,
no,
he plays-
similar idea.
he plays Ono, which is a similar concept.
Ono,
A few points
yeah.
less.
I know is the second choice.
Yeah, that seems
Mhm.
that seems fine. Also,
Yeah.
He's
And
just labeled-
he's picked out D-align, etc., etc.
Yes.
So he's going to be really
Yeah,
happy with
D-align.
that. Well, obviously he's going to be really happy with that.
So is Goutham thinking MIDI on the end column,
Yeah, he had MIDI set up. I mean, that really is a
which will end the game.
I'm going to die move, or I need you to make a mistake move.
Yeah.
But he is 46 points behind, and on this board, 46 points is
A
deadly.
lot.
I mean, another option maybe would be to play Div and Pav over on A9. If you are at do or die stage, that's a better play in my opinion, because you have to throw it open.
Creates a counter, creates a brand new
Yeah.
line in a new area of the
You're,
board.
you're 23
Mhm.
behind.
It's easy in a situation like this to look at the score and you're like, oh, I'm not that far behind. But then you look at the board, you look
Yeah.
at the pool, you look at what scoring opportunities available, and actually,
Yeah.
it's quite a large deficit. It's every time you play, your opponent gets to play next, and you have to make up that 23 points in the difference between your scores.
Sure enough, he decided to play Div. Topping the sim was Livid N6 on the basis that I guess it was harder to block, but I don't see anything wrong with Div actually. I mean that
I like Div very much. It's the best move he's played.
yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So 11 tiles unseen from Dave's point of view. He's sitting there with an unplayable bingo. Goutham has picked up. Oh, he's picked up a bingo onto the D. He's got mislived
On both sides.
on both sides.
Wow.
Only mislived.
That's a heck. That's a heck of a pickup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or misfiled or whatever else.
right.
There's
Yes.
so many.
Yeah.
Wow,
Unbelievable.
That's a get out of jail pickup if ever I've seen one.
Wow, can you sim it with mislived with the actual
Yeah,
lead
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Goutham? Thanks. Gosh. Gone from 90% David to 90%
Wow,
Goutham's now.
that's incredible. That's incredible.
But it goes to show the merit of Div.
And
Yeah. So all of a sudden now, Dave's best play is showing as this is with inference of what we know what Goutham has. He's now saying his best play is glided at A4, which leaves a 24% chance of winning.
So yeah, David's suddenly gone to a huge underdog.
And he's played Adelgid. I guess he's chasing the. I mean, Adelgid is showing at a 20.7 point.
But without the inference,
No,
presumably.
that's with the inference.
Yeah,
with
some
the-
90% win or so.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable.
Because the
What's he picked out?
EM.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's looking at Smilier in 5,
Yeah.
which is just as fine. Scores a couple points more.
Yeah.
Incredible pickup.
was that 90?
That's yeah.
90 points, yeah.
90 points, and that's pretty much a win.
We
Wow.
always knew he was going to win, didn't we?
Wow.
Wow.
Burn, baby, burn. Equity Inferno.
Yeah.
And yet, be useful to know if it was an R or an S, but it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Batman fits.
Yeah, Batman fits.
If it's
Oh.
hold on.
If he
Batman
hit
fits.
hit the championship player.
Alright, stop that.
It fits if it's an R.
Mew win. Batman wins 100%.
If it's an R, if it's an S, it doesn't fit.
Yeah. We don't know
Depends
what
what
it
the
is.
blank is
Oh,
designated
yeah.
as.
Okay, let's. Okay, so if the blank is an R, which we don't know, Dave wins with Batman. If it's an S, which hopefully we're about to find out.
And well, Batman would be kind of.
It would be appropriate given it's the people of Gotham City. Bant will win. Bant is a winning move for Dave here.
Yeah, no matter what the blank is, Bant leads to a winning sequence. Yeah, ironic if Goutham loses to Batman.
You've always got to have a story in a world championship.
What does the clock look like? It looks like Dave's on about 3 minutes and change left. And I don't see Goutham's clock, but
Yeah.
so there's a few minutes to
Did we
cut
establish?
the end game.
Doesn't matter. David has a 100% winning play in Bant. even if it's an S. If it's not, then Batman. Well, actually, Bant is the best win,
Regardless.
But what's the set of plays here? So is it Bant and then Mew underneath Fogged? Is that what we're looking at?
That looks like what we're looking at.
So yeah, I mean, Bant gives him Bant puts him back in the lead, puts him 3 points clear.
Yes.
And then he's out first.
So actually, this is a really straightforward endgame.
Yes.
Which it didn't feel like
Yeah.
when you realised that Smiley
Yes.
scored 90 points.
Yes.
Well, Chris, you said there wasn't much difference between Mislived and Smiley. Perhaps there is.
Apparently,
Absolutely.
there is
Absolutely
all the
thought.
difference in the world. Yep.
It must be an R if he's considering that.
Yeah. Well, actually, let's go back and have a look at what would have happened with Mislived. Because then he's not got the...
I mean, Misliv does give up like 10 points.
Yeah. Smileys and Smiley have around a 63-point win rate. Everything else, 35,
'cause
37.
You're giving up a ton of points, and then, there's still going to be some...
And it is an
comeback.
R, it is an R. He's played Batman. So Gotham has
Wow.
been beaten by Batman.
Never think I thought I'd see the day.
What is going on?
That's a gritty reboot, let me tell you.
I think we've already created some headlines. Wow, what a game!
Yeah.
Gotham down, Batman forever.
Yeah. So Gotham's best play now is simply shoot down the side of Batman.
Sadly, chunt is not a word.
Sadly, chunt is not a word. Yeah.
You can chunt her, but you can't chunt.
So that will put
Yeah.
that'll put him 10 points in front. And then we for 12,
13.
13. This is why I'm sitting here. That 1 point loss. There we go. So shoot the correct play, and then simple outplay with W, 13 points. Dave needs a huge
You
sigh
up in
of
the corner.
relief. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think if there's a lesson to be taken from this game, it's about the need to be always scoring rather than play for bingos. Because I think the lack of momentum that Goutham created by not knowing privatist or just pursuing the bingo and continuing not getting it, I think gave the edge here. So yeah, another very, very strongly played game by David Eldar. Bad luck to Goutham. A couple of tiles different, and he could have hit his bingo early. But sometimes you can't rely upon the get out of jail at the end. You need to be there in it. And Dave is very good at building up enough of a lead so that he can take this kind of hit.
Yeah, well done. I'll go and see if we can get
Yeah.
the players in to talk about the game a bit.
So the final score, just to summarise for everyone, is 489. Yeah, 489 to David Eldar, 484 to
82.
Goutham Jayaraman.
82?
82. Whatever.
Yes.
Eldar
David
won.
Eldar leads 1 game to 0.
Yeah.
He
Also,
won
I
by
believe
5.
that we did have something come in the chat that Harshan won the first game by about 140 points, and we'll be seeing them next on the stream, I believe.
Yeah.